Have you ever experienced the silent heartbreak of someone disappearing from your life, only for them to suddenly come back the moment you finally stop waiting? That sting, that sudden confusion, it's like the universe playing a game with your emotions. But what if I told you their return isn't about love? Not really. What if it's a deeper message, a secret truth that can change the way you see your worth and your future? In this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 undeniable reasons why they only come back after you've moved on, and how you can turn that knowledge into your greatest strength. If you've ever felt lost, hurt, or powerless when someone you cared about returned too late, this video is for you. Stay with me till the very end, because understanding this could be the key to your emotional freedom and real peace. Because here's the truth: when they come back, it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter where you hold the pen. A chapter where you decide your worth, your peace, and your happiness, not them. So get ready to uncover the hidden truths that will empower you to move forward with confidence and never look back. Number 1. Your detachment shakes their control. In relationships, especially the ones where one person invests more, power often becomes unbalanced. When you are fully emotionally available, always there to respond, always waiting, they felt secure in the idea that you'd never leave. They may have ignored your messages, taken days to reply, or treated your efforts as a given. Why? Because they knew you were there. That silent assurance gave them a type of control. But the moment you emotionally detach, everything changes. When you stop texting, stop watching their stories, stop posting cryptic quotes meant for them, that control collapses. Your absence creates uncertainty in their mind. They don't know what you're thinking, and that unsettles them. It's not just your presence they miss. It's the certainty of your love, the comfort of your energy. This triggers their return. Not because they suddenly woke up and realized how amazing you are, but because the power dynamic has flipped. Now they're unsure. Now they're the ones refreshing your profile, wondering who you're talking to. Ironically, your silence becomes more powerful than all your words ever were. You're no longer reacting. You're choosing peace over chaos, and that disturbs them more than anything. But here's your moment of strength. When they do come back, pause, reflect. Are they drawn to you out of love, or are they chasing the feeling of being wanted again? Because someone who truly loves you doesn't need to lose you to value you. They don't wait until your energy disappears to respect it. Number 2. People want what they can't have. Human psychology is deeply wired to chase the unavailable. It's a paradox of desire. What's freely available feels less valuable, while what's scarce feels more important. In relationships, this creates a toxic loop, where people ignore those who care and chase those who don't. When you were giving them your time, love, forgiveness, and emotional availability, they didn't value it. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you were always there. They never had to earn you. You were already invested. But the moment you let go, stop caring, and start focusing on yourself, the game changes. Suddenly, you're not replying instantly. You're not posting emotional quotes aimed at them. You're living, you're healing, you're glowing in your silence. That's when you become the unreachable prize. And like a switch, their mind reactivates the chase. They start stalking your social media, asking mutual friends about you, or worse, trying to re-enter your life with "I miss you" messages. But don't confuse their interest now for genuine love. In many cases, they don't miss you. They miss the idea of you. They miss the comfort, the validation, the safety you once gave. Their ego is bruised by the fact that you moved on without them. So their return may not be about building something real. It could just be about soothing their pride. Your growth is not a stage for their performance. Make sure they're not returning just to see if they can still have you. Because if someone only wants you when you're gone, they never really wanted to stay when it mattered. Number 3. Guilt often disguises itself as love. This is one of the hardest truths to accept. People often mistake guilt for love. When someone hurts you, ignores your worth, and leaves, they might feel fine for a while. But once you begin healing and rising from that pain, a mirror is held up to their actions. They see you happy, peaceful, moving forward without them, and suddenly they're not so sure they did the right thing. But it's not always because they realized your true worth. It's because they feel guilty. Guilt is powerful. It makes people want to fix things, not necessarily for you, but to ease their conscience. So they come back with apologies, with "I've changed," with "I didn't realize what I had." And while those words can sound heartfelt, they're often born from emotional discomfort, not growth. They want forgiveness, but not responsibility. They want a second chance, not because they've evolved, but because the idea of being the villain in your story makes them uncomfortable. You must be very careful here. Guilt can lead to temporary change, but only self-awareness leads to real transformation. Don't take them back just because they feel bad. Ask, are they coming back to love you better or to feel better about themselves? Your heart is not a rehabilitation center for those who break it. If their return is based on guilt, it will never build a foundation strong enough for a future. Number 4. You became someone they can't ignore anymore. When someone leaves you, there's often an unspoken assumption behind their exit, that you'll be there when they come back, that you'll remain stuck in heartbreak, waiting, hurting, hoping. But when you truly move on, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually, you shock them. Why? Because you didn't just survive their absence, you thrived in it. You're no longer the person who once cried themselves to sleep over unanswered texts. You've grown. You've glowed up. You've found yourself again. This transformation isn't just about physical appearance. It's your inner energy, your peace, your self-respect, your refusal to settle. And that makes you someone they can't ignore anymore. Now, they're watching you live, laugh, and find joy in things that don't include them. That's powerful. To them, it feels like they've lost access to a version of you they thought they owned. They don't recognize the person you've become, not because you've changed for the worse, but because you've evolved past the space they once held in your heart. But here's the critical truth. When they come back now, they're not returning to you. They're chasing the person they once took for granted, now reborn in a new light. What they don't realize is that the version of you they want access to no longer exists. That person died in the pain, in the silence, in the nights when you healed without closure. And now, you don't need their validation. You don't need revenge. You don't need explanations, because growth speaks louder than grudges. And when they come back to the door they slammed, they'll realize too late. It's been rebuilt into a wall they can no longer climb. Number 5. Their options didn't turn out as expected. Let's be honest. Many people walk away from relationships thinking they'll find better. They get caught up in superficial excitement, in the illusion of newness, in the fantasy of grass that seems greener. They assume they have time. They assume you'll wait. They assume someone out there will love them like you did, but with fewer boundaries, fewer complications. But after the initial thrill fades, reality hits. That new person doesn't understand their silence the way you did, doesn't forgive as easily, doesn't stay when things get hard. They start to compare, not because they miss you immediately, but because they realize that emotional depth like yours doesn't come around often. They remember the nights you listened without judging, the small ways you showed care, even when they didn't deserve it, the patience you had when they were at their worst. And suddenly, the fantasy of something better shatters against the wall of reality. But here's the most important truth. You've changed, too. You're no longer the person they left behind waiting in pain. You've grown wiser. You've set boundaries. You no longer tolerate excuses. When they come back hoping to reclaim what they left, they find a different person, someone who has learned self-love and respect. This means their return is often fueled by regret, loneliness, or a fear of truly being alone, not a genuine desire to rebuild something real. And it's your responsibility to recognize the difference. Don't let nostalgia cloud your judgment. Just because they return doesn't mean you have to open the door. In fact, often their return is the universe giving you a second chance to choose yourself over the familiar pain. So when they come back, listen carefully. Are they offering growth and respect, or just a wish to avoid their own loneliness? Number 6. Your silence becomes louder than words. Silence is one of the most misunderstood and underestimated tools in relationships. When you stop explaining yourself, stop begging for attention, and stop chasing, your silence speaks volumes. It tells a story of strength, peace, and self-respect. And that silence makes them uncomfortable because it breaks the pattern they relied on, the pattern where you reacted to their every move. When you were present, available, and emotional, they knew exactly how to get your attention. But now, the absence of reaction confuses them. They start to wonder, have you moved on? Do you care anymore? Are you happy without them? This uncertainty can be terrifying for someone who thrived on your emotional energy. The power of silence lies in its ability to create space. Space for healing for you, and space for them to realize what they lost. It's not about punishing or playing games. It's about valuing your peace more than drama. Many times when they come back after you've gone silent, it's because they hate not being the center of your universe. They miss the emotional rush of controlling your attention and affection. But don't break your silence just to soothe their ego. Your silence isn't absence, it's evolution. Let your peace be louder than their words. Number 7. The universe tests you right before closure. Just when you think you've finally closed the chapter, when your heart has begun to heal and your mind has started to focus on new horizons, the universe seems to throw one last curveball your way. Maybe it's a random text, a call out of nowhere, or a sudden message from the person you thought you'd left behind. I miss you. "Can we talk?" or simply, "Hey." These words carry so much weight and stir up all kinds of emotions you thought you'd buried long ago. At first, it feels like fate, like the universe is giving you a sign, a chance to rewrite your story or fix the pieces that were once broken. You may wonder if this is a blessing or a trap, a genuine opportunity, or just an echo of past pain. But this moment, this sudden re-entry into your life, is not about them. It's about you. It's a test, a challenge, a crossroads. It asks you, have you really healed? Have you truly learned to love yourself? Or are you still holding on to the pain, the memories, the hope that maybe things could be different? When they come back, it can trigger a whirlwind of emotions: hope, fear, confusion, excitement and doubt. Your mind races with questions. Should I answer? Is this their way of showing they've changed? Can I trust them again? Am I ready to open this door, or will I just get hurt all over again? These questions are not easy, and the temptation to respond is natural. After all, when someone who hurt you reappears, it pulls at your deepest vulnerabilities. But this moment, this choice, is crucial. It separates those who truly grow from those trapped in cycles of hurt. Closure is not something you get from others. It is something you give yourself. It's about reclaiming your power and deciding what you deserve, regardless of what others want. Sometimes the strongest act of love is not answering that call. It is walking away once more, but this time with your head held high, your heart guarded, and your soul stronger than ever. Because love that causes pain, breaks you down, and leaves scars is not love at all. It is a lesson to teach you self-worth, boundaries, and the power of moving forward. If you've done your healing work, if you've found peace within yourself, then their return becomes irrelevant. You no longer need external validation to feel whole. You no longer chase ghosts from your past, and that is freedom. So when the universe tests you with their sudden comeback, listen carefully, not with longing, but with wisdom. You don't owe them a second chance. You owe yourself respect, peace, and the courage to say no if it means protecting your future happiness. Because sometimes the final closure isn't a conversation with them. It's a promise you make to yourself that you will never settle for less than you deserve again. So, what if they come back when you finally move on? Let them come. Because the person they left behind no longer exists. You've transformed through pain, grown through silence, and rebuilt your life brick by brick. You've discovered a strength inside you that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval or presence. Their return is not your reset button. It's a reminder that your peace is priceless and worth protecting at all costs. Remember, true love never leaves you wondering, chasing, or doubting. It stands firm, respects your growth, and never takes you for granted. You've already won the hardest battle, choosing yourself when it was easier to hold on. Now, keep moving forward with your head high and your heart open, but guarded, because your future belongs to the version of you who knows her worth, embraces her power, and refuses to settle for anything less than she deserves. If this video helped you see your own strength, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful insights to guide your journey. Remember, your peace is your power.